Hey guys, this is Nye the Batman. I'm Alex. I have a special guest today.
Hey guys, I'm Will. I haven't really been on the internet or any podcasts or anything in like probably since before COVID, 3 years. So thanks, Alex, for having me, man. It's good to be back.
Definitely, man. I was thinking back, like this is like behind the scenes for I guess like me and you, or like just in general. I don't think I've podcasted with you since like What Mean. Like I think it was towards the towards
Yeah,
like the infancy of like What Mean, like back in 20, like you said, pre-pandemic, back like
sheesh. Yeah,
2019.
literally. Yeah,
But yeah, man, I'm excited. It
me too.
definitely it was one of those things with the previous one where I was just like, I can't just say the same thing about like the non-spoiler stuff slash mild spoiler thing. So we're gonna be talking about Flash 2023. We're gonna do no spoilers and then like mild spoilers, and then you guys are gonna see I'm going to put out a separate thing both on Flashbacks and on Night of the Batman that's going to come out the day of the premiere. So look forward to that. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and get into it. I guess it's nice having somebody else on the show because last time I was kind of struggling by myself. I don't know if you've ever tried to podcast by yourself, but it's not really easy.
It can be kind of rough for sure. I would just like to preface too, I have still not yet seen the movie, so I'm excited to hear all these spoilers and your different takes on things because this is something I've been very excited about, man. The internet, especially, I was actually surprised seeing how much James Gunn and all these other celebrities like really, really hyped up the Flash movie,
Yeah.
and I'm interested to see from your perspective if it lived up to that hype. So,
Man, Tom Cruise was even hyping it up, man. That was crazy.
yeah, he said this is the movie that we need right now, or something like that. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
if he says it,
You have the Church of Scientology back in this movie. So
yeah. Well, hey, that guy knows box office though.
yeah, he
He
does.
won the box office last year.
He's
Yeah,
he's gonna he's gonna kill himself somehow doing one of these stunts in Mission Impossible.
definitely, definitely. It reminds me of Jackie Chan back in the days.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jackie Chan should have had a better career than he did. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're gonna that's like a whole
yes.
nother podcast. But we'll go ahead and get into it. Flash 2023, this movie has been hyped up so much. I think you probably remember this too. This has been on the DC slate since what, like 2016?
Yeah, really, ever since they started building, even the original Snyderverse, whenever all that started taking place, this was always on that slate. I think they even announced Ezra Miller as the actor to play the Flash. When was it, like 2017 or so? Like right around
Yeah, because
2016 or so? Yeah, it's been a minute.
like BVS. I remember he was in that one scene in BVS where he looked like very, very different. Like he had like the little ponytail. Speaking of a little ponytail, like everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a bunch of memes and stuff. That's a whole nother podcast too. BVS. We're gonna that's just leave that over there. That's a whole
Yes.
mess into itself. But yeah, speaking of Snyder though, this definitely takes a lot from that. I know that you can just tell from the trailers and everything. Like this definitely. Were you surprised, just I guess going into the trailers, that they were going to have General Zod in this?
Surprised. Yeah, well, yes, actually, because I mean, I wasn't expecting too much callback from a lot of that. I thought they were trying to distance themselves from it. But I think it's cool to see, at least from the trailers, a world without Clark, a world without Superman and all those things and how it takes place and what does that look like, right? Because Zod comes to Earth now and there's no one who can really stop him from what it
Yeah,
looks like from those trailers. And I mean, say what you want about those movies, obviously, and again, that's another topic.
yeah,
But Michael Shannon playing Zod has always been great in that role, I think. Which is
yeah.
good too.
He's been kind of like a like he's come up more than I thought. Like I know he came up in that one. He was like the kind of doomsday-ish thing in BVS, and then like in this one now he makes his I guess third on-screen return, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually said some interesting things about that. I think today, by the way, in an interview.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, so he was basically talking about how he preferred working on Man of Steel because it was more of like a story based thing and being able to dive into the character of Zod Whereas he felt like in this Flash movie, it was more about, oh, look, action, boom, stuff like that. It was less about the character for him.
Oh, don't you
So
worry. We're gonna get into that. That's coming up. I have thoughts.
we'll get to that in a flash, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll just go ahead and because I do like one of the things I thought, I guess before we move on to the actual plot description is like watching the trailers before I actually saw the movie. Um Supergirl is interesting. She's not you can just tell this from the trailer, like she's not like the blonde like Melissa Benoist kind of like traditional take on Supergirl. What do you think of that casting? Do you think like just I know you can't really tell anything from a trailer, but just like the look and the aesthetic, like what do you think of it?
Oh, for sure. Just from the look and the aesthetic, I mean, I think it looks cool from the trailer. It's obviously not what I'm used to with Supergirl, but honestly, for me, Supergirl's always been the character that has been kind of lower on the totem pole that I've never really had a specific image of in my mind, if that makes sense. Because I don't think we've ever had a super great
Yeah.
Supergirl yet on screen. We've had some solid ones for sure from Smallville and obviously Supergirl and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, from the aesthetic standpoint of what they're trying to do in this film, what Andy Muschietti, is that his name? Is that how you pronounce it?
Andy
The
Piscetti,
director, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, Andy Andy
Yeah,
Machete, yeah.
yeah, Andy Spaghetti, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but I think what he's trying to accomplish in it, with having it be cool and fun, but also still having somewhat of a gritty kind of style to it, I think the stylistic decision makes sense. Plus, also the more slender frame, from what I've seen, is very reminiscent of the Flashpoint movie and everything like
Yeah.
that as well with Clark. So I like that choice.
Yeah. And just I'm not trying to give away or show my hand too early, but like I know the whole thing. It's kind of like my beef with like the this is a Batman podcast. It's kind of like my beef with like Batman whenever they adapt him into movies. They're like, "Oh, we're going to adapt Batman into movies." Like, have you guys read The Long Halloween or Dark Knight Returns? Like that's always the take basically. And with Flash, it's
Mhm.
like have you guys read Flashpoint? I'm like, he's got other stories, guys. Like, do something else. Like, they had 9 seasons of the Flash TV show where they did different stuff. Like, you can do different things with this character.
Yes, and I will say on the TV show, I think they went too far at times.
Yeah, well, it's definitely one of those things. We'll get to it in the rewatch podcast. But yeah,
For sure, can't wait for that.
I got a long track ahead of me. I love that show, guys. Don't get me wrong, but I do have a long track ahead of me. 9 seasons, man.
Me too, but you're right. I think the Flash has such a, I think outside of Batman, maybe Superman to an extent, but I really like the Flash's gallery of rogues.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really kind of quirky, goofy villains in there, but there's also some really cool concepts, and I'd like to see them explore some of that before they jump straight into Flashpoint, because this Barry that we've gotten to know so far, we've really only gotten to know him in one film, and
Yeah.
that's in Justice League. And even if you watch the Snyder cut, sure that's 4 hours, but we didn't really get to see a whole lot of his story, not as much as I would like to before jumping into Flashpoint.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna get into like a brief I guess like I'll say like I did in the last one before we get into any spoilers. I'll just say the standouts for me. First off, I guess I'll do it different in this one. I like the mom character in it, Nora. The way that they did her was different than how it was in the TV show. She was very like it's a Flashpoint thing, so you have to care about the mom. Like that's got to be the first thing, and I think you really do. Like she was very like she felt real in a way, which was really cool. And like that's definitely really important, with how Flashpoint goes, that you have to care about that, otherwise the story wouldn't work. But so that they already nailed that, so that was good. But yeah, I guess I'll go. The dad was okay. We didn't really get to see
Yeah.
a lot of them in the Zack Snyder movie anyway. We just got to see like, that little prison scene, like, where he was just like talking to his son and happy that he got the job and everything. It's basically the same
Yeah.
here. We don't really get a lot with them in this movie, which I'm not really spoiling anything. He's not in the movie that much, which is disappointing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that will bother me probably.
Yeah.
just being that I think the relationship that Barry has with his mother and father in particular are very integral to the character, at least from
Right.
what I've seen especially in the TV show. They do it very well in the TV show, those first couple of seasons, as well as the comics. But yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely it's one of those things where, and we're gonna get into it when we get into spoilers, but I have some thoughts about how I'll just go ahead and say it here. I feel like I saw my preferred version before. There's definitely some, without spoiling anything, there's obviously some repeated beats in this that I think I preferred when I saw it on the TV show versus in the movie, and that's all I'm gonna say for right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Ezra Miller, as much as it pains me to say, because of how controversial and how much of a piece of shit they seem like they are, did a good job in this movie. I still don't prefer that take. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like this weird, awkward. I said in the other review, Barry seems like he's kind of on the spectrum, which is fine, but it's almost like that weird kind of, not a theory in the last one, because like sometimes when like somebody's parent dies or some trauma happens, like a kid or like even an adult will like be socially awkward and stuff because of trauma. So maybe it's that, but I think I might be giving them too much credit. Like, I did like this movie, guys, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. What did
Yeah,
you,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I would say, yeah, I mean, always, especially recently, that casting choice was always going to be controversial no matter what. Obviously, they were too late in the production process for them to remove that from it. And so I think one of the things that'll be harder to do for me, and you can probably speak to this as well, is having to sit down and watch it, but also kind of like separate that
Yes.
from it and be able to just see it as art right in front of you, right? Which I'm
And
sure is tougher to do for some than others. But yeah.
that was the thing for me, because when I saw the one, and I mentioned this in the other thing, when I saw the screening, the AC was out. Like, they told me like before I went, it's like, hey guys, the person who's joking, the guy did, he said, hey, the electricity is out, and I was like, what? It's like, no, I'm just kidding, the AC is out. And I was just like, oh, okay. So like I was sweating the lobby already. So it was one of those things where I kept doing like this every 5 seconds, because I was like, man, it's like it's hot in here kind of thing. It's like I was
Yeah.
like, come on, let's go. And I was hoping when the lights went down, they would fix it. It didn't really, but whatever. So that was one of the things. Then also it took me a minute to kind of be like, this is Barry Allen. This isn't Ezra. Like, try to just separate in your mind so you can just try to enjoy this movie on its merits, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
judge it not for that. Because I'm trying to just do that. Also, I didn't pay for it, so I feel a little bit better about that, like not supporting Ezra in that way. Like, I got it for free, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I think that I have my own opinions on it. That would be a whole separate podcast. I'm not gonna not gonna spend that long on this, but
Yeah.
just saying I don't support Ezra Miller, just for the record right here, just saying it for everyone to hear. There we go. Anyway, moving
No
on.
worries. I have a question actually.
Oh, what's up?
How was and you're probably gonna get to this. If you're gonna get to it, that's fine. But how was Iris in the movie? Did we get to see much of Iris at all?
Not as much as I'd like. And that goes into one of my bigger critiques that I guess I could say here, and it's not really a spoiler. You guys know it from the trailer. Um and I'll get into, like, I'll make like the little dividing thing, and then we'll go into mild spoilers. But
Yeah.
I like her more than Candice Patton. Candice Patton in the early seasons is good as Iris. I think that it's one of those things, and even she will say that like they didn't really have anything really to do with her in the later seasons. It's kind of like how they kind of character assassinated Felicity and Arrow after a while, but then fixed it later on. That was the thing, man. And I'm sure that's why Emily didn't want to return in the final season. I'm sure she was just like, I'm kind of done, because I'm sure the fandom was like harassing her about how bad her character is written. I'm like, that's not the actress's fault though. Like, you guys can't really,
Yeah.
that's the writer's fault really. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree. I think one thing I've kind of gotten away from in the past few years is I used to be very critical of the actors themselves, just, growing up being the theater kid and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm starting to see more and more now. There's a lot of blame on some of the writing in these movies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people always give Hayden Christensen crap for the prequels and Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of it is really just the way that it's written. It's just
Yeah.
written poorly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even like Harrison Ford back then. Again, tangent. We'll get back to the Flash in a minute, but
Yeah.
like Harrison Ford even said, like he would go and cross out certain lines that George Lucas wrote. He's like, you can write this, but you sure can't say it. That's what he would say to George back in the day. I'm like, it's true, man. Like some things work on the page, but when you try to put it on screen, it's not good. And I mean, there's this whole thing going on now with writers that like they need to be paid better than what they are. Like this comes up every few years. And my thing personally, I'd be fine watching reruns if it means that they're getting paid properly and getting like the proper time off and everything that they need. Like honestly, I don't care. I'd rather them get paid what they deserve to, because otherwise we don't have entertainment. There's no writers, there's no good entertainment. You've seen when something is like during the writers' strike and how terrible it is. So like, do you guys want that, or do you want well-written shows like Superman and Lois and stuff like that? It's how you get that is you pay them right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So anyway, gonna try to stick to stick to the thing. Iris was great. I wish I saw more of her. I wish this was more of a Flash movie. The trailers, like obviously they used Batman to sell a lot of this. And I know it's crazy me saying that I wish there was less Batman in this on a Batman podcast, but like I do, man. I wish there was less Batman in this Flash movie. Like I just wanted a straight up Flash movie, and without going into spoilers, I feel like all of this other stuff was cool, but like it kind of took away from the story in ways that I'll get into in the spoiler part.
Yeah, I will say, just as a fan of Flashpoint, I do wish they would have went the classic Thomas Wayne route and had a guy like Jeffrey Dean Morgan play that role or something like that. I think that would have been awesome. Yeah. Something just completely new.
I think that was what the plan was, or at least it seemed like that at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you know actually way back Grant Morrison and apparently Ezra were like writing a script for the Flash movie? Do you remember hearing about that?
I don't, but man, that would have that would have been interesting.
Especially Grant Morrison, man. You know that I think they is the pronouns for Grant Morrison now, like would have wrote something great. I don't know if it would have been great for like general audiences, but definitely I would have watched the hell out of that movie. But agreed. Yeah. I guess we're gonna get into mild spoilers now. I was hoping that Supergirl would be in more of this. She's not really, which was kind of disappointing. I thought she would have been more badass, and don't get me wrong, she is. There's definitely some moments. She has some intensity to her. I think her name is Sasha Kali, maybe
Sasha Cal.
Yeah, okay. Like yeah, but she was good. She just wasn't in much of it. And then Ezra Miller, like I said, was good. Michael Keaton, of course, not a slouch or anything. Like that guy, I forgot how weird Batman in the Burton movies was. Like we'll get more into it in spoilers, but like just some of the stuff, I'm like, why is he acting like that? I'm like, oh yeah, that's how he acted in '89 and Returns. Yeah. But yeah, Ben Affleck was great for the two scenes he was in. Like honestly, yeah, like that was
most underrated Batman ever. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so it was definitely like spectacle. Like on the other show, and I kind of mentioned this on the other one, on Flashbacks. I'll bring it over here too. I usually rate, like, the Flash show is rated on like above the writers' room. They have heart, spectacle, and humor is like the three things that each episode needs to have, and this thing has all of it. It has heart, with like stuff with his mom, spectacle. There's a lot of great set pieces in this, and then humor. There some parts that aren't funny, but there are some parts that actually got me pretty good. So like it does have some good humor in it. So yeah, like you got all three filled, which is great. You know, you have a great story whenever all those three things are filled, like if it's Flash or anything else. So happy to say that it's a good movie, guys. I think I'm more picky because I'm a Batman and a Flash fan, so maybe I wanted more from it and I know more about it. So maybe it's that. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, another question too.
What's up?
So do you feel like knowing where the DCU, I guess, is going now with James Gunn. Obviously, this film was finished before he decided to take over, him and Peter Safran. Um, was there anything you noticed that like you feel like was changed or altered after that in the movie? If you can save that for spoilers later if
Ooh,
you
we're
want to,
gonna
but
get into it in the spoilers. That's all I'll
okay,
say.
good,
But
good,
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay,
I got some stuff here. But yeah,
okay.
we're gonna go ahead and I think for this, I'm trying to think if I left anyone off. Oh yeah, I forgot. Michael Shannon was great in this, like much more
Yes.
intimidating in this because of Supergirl. I don't think it's really a mild spoiler, or I don't think it's really even a spoiler to say that she's inexperienced in this. So it's much more. He had the vibe of like a slasher villain in this, man. Like you were, I was like scared for the characters whenever he would
Yeah.
like basically when he would face off against them. I'm like, they have no chance in this. Like they're gonna all die. Basically, like it was one of those
Yeah.
things.
So it's not like Man of Steel where he just stood around and said, "I will find him,"
Yeah,
like
no.
10 times. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then showed
Cool.
showed Kal-El like a field of like skulls, and he's like, "Join me, we'll make this world better." I'm like, why did he think that would work?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's its own thing. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'll cut this off right here, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the spoilers, and then you'll see this part of the video later. So I'll go ahead and end this now. I'm Alex, and you go
And
ahead.
I'm Will.
And this is Night of the Batman. We will see you guys later on in the week for the spoiler review. So look forward to that.
See you.